What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Cameron and this is my 2003 Jeep TJ, and in this video I'll be going over the process of changing out the gear oil in your front and rear differential, as well as replacing the gasket on those seals. Let's get started. Alright, and for this project I have 4 quarts of 75 W90 gear oil for the differentials there. I also have 2 gaskets, one for the D30 in the front and one for the D35 in the rear. We've got 13mm sockets here. I've got my torque wrench so that I can torque the bolts to their correct specs. I also have this tube here so that we can easily transfer the oil from these bottles into our differential and our oil catch pan. I'm going to start by removing the 5 bolts that are on the bottom half of this front differential here, so that we can let the gear oil drain out into our catch pan. Once the fluid drains completely, then I can remove the other 5 bolts on the top there and replace the inner gasket. Then put it all together and remove this drain plug here, just with our 3/8 socket attachment there, and then we can bolt it all back up and put fluids back in it, and we're good to go. Change of plans. I'm having some trouble getting the sealant to break on the bottom there, so I'm just going to unbolt it all and then try to pry it apart. All the gearing looks really good. I examined it and there were no cracks or breaks or anything like that. It's really well oiled. So now I'm gonna take this little scraper tool, go around the differential cover and the actual differential itself and scrape off all the sealant gunk, and then I can apply my new Lube Locker D30 differential gasket. Now that both the inner seal on the differential itself and the inner seal on the differential cover are scraped clean of the original RTV, I'm going to take the Lube Locker gasket, which looks like this for the D30, and just apply it there and line up the holes. With all the holes lined up as so, I'm just going to take 2 bolts and put them through a couple of the main points here just to keep them in place like that. Then I'm going to flip it around and put it back on the differential of the axle and tighten them. With those 2 bolts holding the differential cover in place on the differential itself, I'm going to put in the rest of the 8 bolts, and then I can tighten them to 25 foot-pounds. Now that all the bolts on the differential are torqued to 25 foot-pounds, I'm going to take our synthetic 75 W90 gear oil there, just cut off the tip, connect it with the tube like that, and tilt it like that, because it's difficult to get a good angle without some sort of tube or funnel. If you're ever unsure what 1.3 quarts is and you don't know how to measure it, what you can do is just fill it up to the inside of the drain plug opening there, and that is a great stopping point. So now that we have that stopping point, I'm going to wipe it up, reinsert the drain plug here with the size 3/8, and just insert that there and tighten it. That is plenty snug. Now I'm gonna just clean up the excess gear oil that dripped out of the drain plug opening, and we are all good to move on to the rear differential. The Jeep's front and rear differentials have been fully serviced. Transmission oil was topped off, coolant level was topped off, and engine oil was also topped off. And everything is all torqued to spec. Next video I have for you guys will be prepping and painting and installing the Barnes 4-wheel drive 2-inch bolt-on skid plate. I was going to do the slip yoke eliminator and the rear CV drive shaft, but I already have them on the Jeep, so I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to do the Barnes 4-wheel drive skid plate. Thank you all for watching and have a great rest of your day.